Let's do prayer now. Hari Om. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Chinmayam Vyapiyat Sarvam Trailokyam Sacharacharam Tatpadam Darsitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. So we are doing the series of Vedanta, Introduction to Vedanta. We covered one aspect of it in the last talks, that everyone is searching for happiness. That seems to be the fundamental driving force for all life forms in one form or another. And if you look at the whole thing, there is only two things that we are concerned. One is, I am the subject, and the object, the world. So I, as a subject, am a conscious entity, and the world that I am dealing with are inert. All other beings are also, from my point, are inert only in the sense that I can only perceive their external forms which are inert. I cannot perceive the consciousness if there is in them. So therefore, from my point, I am the only subject, and everything is object of my perception. And now we are only dealing with two things, I am and the object, this is. Now we are looking at each one point. I am trying to yoke out the happiness from the external world, this, by trying to gather this that I want, or I don't have it right now. And in that case, we mentioned that however much we get by this, we will still be inadequate, because we can never complete ourselves by gathering finite objects unless I can gather the whole infinite. But infinite cannot be gathered. So we are in a dynamic situation where, or a situation where we have to, or we want to solve a problem that we want to be happy by gaining things, and we cannot become, or we cannot gain that absolute uninterrupted happiness. I, as a conscious entity and existent entity, and we are looking for the happiness that we want. And we concluded in the previous talks that I want infinite, which is nothing but limitless, which Vedanta calls it Brahman. So what I want is Brahman, or I want to be part of Brahman, I want to become Brahman, I want to get Brahman. That seems to be the driving force for all living beings. And that I cannot get it by any process. That also, it's evident, because infinite cannot be gained by any finite process. So all the pravrutti and nivrutti, gaining something or get rid of something due to raga dveshas or likes and dislikes that I live through my whole life, I cannot get what I want, and it's continuously a battle, life after life after life, same struggle goes on. And also we concluded in the previous talks, this is not just one life. There has to be a previous life. Otherwise, we have a problem of breaking down the cause-effect relationship on one end, and also at the other end where there has to be life after, continuity has to be there. So all these aspects are clear now. Now let's look at more deeper about our nature. We know we are a conscious entity. No one will say I am unconscious. And we know we are an existent entity. And not only as a human being, as a human being, we are not only conscious of the world, we are also self-conscious. Means we are conscious about ourselves to the degree that we make mistakes about ourselves. We are not completely, do not know who we are. We take ourselves what we are not, and we are conscious of those defects also. And there are, if you look at all beings and examine and the process of how their life or their experiences, then if you look at it, you find out there are three fundamental errors that we make about ourselves. If you are not conscious about ourselves, then if you are not self-conscious at all, then we just live like any other animal. Animal doesn't think I am a good cow or a good dog breed and all that. Owner may think that his dog is a good breed, but dog doesn't have any problem. Only a human being, because he is not only conscious, because he is self-conscious, he evaluates himself, and then he categorizes himself, I am good or I am better than the other guy, I am not better than. All those judgment comes only because I am conscious of myself. And in that being, because I am self-conscious, he said there are three fundamental errors that we make. Number one, we think we are mortal. That means we are born at such and such a time and we are going to die one day. And this seems to be a biggest problem because everyone is afraid of the death. And if you look at it, the whole Gita-upadesa starts because of this problem. Why? Arjuna thinks, I am going to kill these great seers, the Pitamahas and my great Guru, and therefore there is the end of their life when the body dies. So therefore they are all mortals, that's what we think. So I am a mortal is the fundamental assumption, and I try to solve that problem as much as I can. And if you look at the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, everyone is familiar. Asatoma sadgamaya, tamasoma jyotirgamaya, mrityorma amrutam gamaya. So, mrityorma amrutam gamaya. Please lead me from mortality to immortality. That itself is a prayer. So, if you look at the prayer, that means I have already concluded myself, I am a mortal. And I want to become immortal. That seems to be my basis. So, if Lord Yamadharmaraja comes, because I am almost ready to die, Yamadharmaraja comes, sir, let's go. Says, no, let me one more day, please, because I want to see somebody's marriage or someone this or someone that. We want to extend our life either physically, if not at least by namesake. I want my name everywhere so that if I don't leave, my name will live. So there is a natural tendency to extend my life beyond and to make myself immortal because I do not like the conclusion that I am mortal. This becomes a problem. And therefore the prayer also says, please lead me from mortality to immortality. But Krishna says, Jatasya hi dhruvo mrutyuhu dhruvan janma mrutasya cha. Whatever that is born has to die. So it is an unsolved problem. A problem I am requesting the Lord, please make me immortal. And Lord already said I cannot do it. Because whatever is born has to die. There is no way I can make your body immortal. Then what? This is a useless prayer then. So what is the point of asking Lord that He cannot do anything? So the request, but this is an Upanishadic statement, so it has to have a deeper meaning too. So, implication of this is this conclusion that I am mortal and make me immortal, that I am mortal itself is wrong. That conclusion is wrong because I made an error. That's what the scripture says. And that's how Krishna starts. You are crying, there is no reason for you to cry. So therefore, asocyan anvasochatvam. So therefore, there is no reason for you to cry. Say, why? Because what you think is mortal is not really mortal. Says, therefore, they are always there before. Natvevaham jatunasam natvam nemi janadipaha nachaiva nabhavishyamaha sarvevayam hatah param. There is never a time I was not there. Never a time you are not there. Never a time all these kings are not there. They are always there. They will be eternal. What is changing? Only body. Dehinosmin yatha dehe kaumaram yavaram jara. Just as the body is changing from the childhood to the adulthood and so on, there is only change of the body, doesn't mean that you are changing. And therefore, my conclusion that I am mortal is also an error of judgment, because I do not know my true nature. Why? The ignorance of my true nature again is a problem. So previously we said there was another ignorance. The same ignorance also comes here in that part as a mortality to immortality. The second conclusion we arrived at, which we did for the two, is I am unhappy as I am, and I want to become more happy, or by gaining something I want to be more happy. So I have already concluded that I am unhappy and trying to solve a problem. And we just discussed elaborately that whatever I do, I will still remain unhappy, because I still remain inadequate person, because by gaining something I cannot become full. So that problem also cannot be solved by any process. Then, but there is a drive for it. As we mentioned, we are already the moksha, the limitless, because we are completely full by ourselves, because analysis, as we did, shows that the happiness is not coming from outside, happiness is coming from inside of my own self, when the mind is free from longing or wanting or desiring. So I am contented mind. A mind which is contented, which is agitationless mind, is a mind which is quiet mind, where the pure consciousness is beaming through in all its glory as the state of happiness itself, at least in those moments until the mind again gets agitated by other desires. So the second conclusion, that I am unhappy and therefore I want to become happy, and all my efforts throughout my life is to solve that problem, is also meaningless, cannot be solved, because the original conclusion is wrong. These are the two errors. First one is mortality, the second one is I am unhappy. And there is a third, peculiar to particularly for human beings, is I am ignorant. That's a problem? Yes. Because I see myself that I am not completely knowledgeable. As we go along, we say, I don't know this, I don't know this, I don't know this. And there is natural tendency to know things, and that is intrinsically, I want to be knowledgeable of everything. This is a peculiar situation where, however, maybe I am urgently going to an airport. If somebody is gathering there somewhere, I want to know what it is. Because the curiosity comes to know, because I don't like the ignorance. I want to know what other people are talking about me or gossiping about me, because I don't like the ignorance of anything. So therefore, I want to know is a drive. And the funny thing also is, as we mentioned also, that the more I try to learn in this objective world, the more ignorance only I am getting. Why? Because the more I learn that there are a lot more things to learn, which I didn't know even before. At least ignorant man, I was happy. Now, because I know a little bit, now I know there are a lot more things which I even didn't know that they exist. And now I know that my ignorance is growing much rapidly than my knowledge itself. That means I am becoming more and more ignorant than solving the problem. So therefore, these are three fundamental conclusions that I have arrived at, because I am a self-conscious entity. Now, what's the difference being a self-conscious and the conscious of something else? We will go into deep later, but at least we know this is a problem. And now, we've mentioned that all these problems that we have, conclusions, cannot be solved, and we try to solve the problem. So if you look at the life of all beings in this world, they're trying to solve these three problems only. In essence, it may manifest in different forms, but essentially, they were trying to do this, and so on. All these three problems are being tried to solve, and they can never solve the problem according to the Vedanta. Because we are trying to solve a problem as far as the Vedanta is concerned, where there is no really problem. So when there is no problem and we are trying to solve a problem, how can there be a solution to a problem? Solution to a problem for this kind of problem is to recognize there is no problem to start with. That problem can be understood only that I have that there is no problem, provided I understand and I am complete by myself. That means I am happy as I am knowledgeable as myself, I am the Jnana Swarupam itself, and I am Sat Swarupam, pure existence that can never cease to exist at any time. That means I am Sat Chit Ananda Swarupam. That should be understood, and those are three conclusions that come out of it, because not knowing I am the Satchidananda Swarupam, I am making these three fundamental errors, that I am mortal, I am unhappy, and I am ignorant. And only way to solve this problem or imaginary problem is to recognize my true nature, to understand that I am pure Satchidananda. So if you go and tell anybody, hey, you are Satchidananda, why are you worried about it? Says, this is very good in a Vedanta class. Who will take care of my wife? Who will take care of my children? All blah 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 problems he will tell you. So this has to be understood clearly by critical analysis, and that's what is Vedanta will take you. For that, a mind has to be prepared. So we'll try to analyze next in terms of what is that preparation that we need to do in order to understand. So we have now, and look at our problems from the point of individual. So we said there are two things. One is the I am and the whole world. Now we look at the problem from what is from the point of the world itself. Because the world is there, I am is there, but these two have to interact for me, because I am trying to solve a problem in living through the world. Therefore, what kind of approach I do and what kind of limitations are there also have to be understood. Because these problems need to be firmly understood, otherwise there is no drive to go towards the higher knowledge. And that's why we have to have examined critically what's our status here and why we need Vedanta in order for us to understand what our true understanding. We'll that in the next lecture. Let's do the prayer. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.